Out to St. Mary's, the Lady Blue Devils are hosting the Valley Lady Lumberjacks. Brindley Bulluck gets the scoring started, getting in the paint and getting the floater to fall. Next possession for the Lady Blue Devils. Bulluck finds Landry Riggs down low, and that is an easy bucket. Riggs, not done yet. This time stepping outside as she is going to drill the three-pointer off another assist from Bulluck. St. Mary's out to a quick 9-0 lead. Valley looking to respond as Lakin Dawson gets the Lady Lumberjacks' first points of the game with that triple. Bulluck, though, right back at him. She responds with a three of her own, and she finished with a career-high 40 points. How about it for number 32? Dawson on the fast break now. She gets the bucket plus a foul. Going to line for an and one. She had all 6 of Valley's first quarter points. Now that first quarter coming to an end. Long pass down court finds Bulluck, who's going to lay it in off the glass as the Lady Blue Devils go on to win big, 87-26.